Lena was the youngest maid in the great palace of the Vorthan Empire. She cleaned halls, carried water, and folded robes for people who never even looked at her. Most days were quiet and simple, but every night, when the lights grew dim and the guards changed shifts, Lena heard something strange. It was a soft sound at first, like a whimper. Then it grew louder, echoing through the long metal halls. It sounded like someone crying. No one else reacted to the sound. The other maids ignored it, and the guards pretended not to hear. They said the noise came from the emperor's private wing, and no one was allowed near that place. Anyone who tried to enter without permission would be punished. Still, the sound made Lena uneasy. It was not the cry of a monster. It sounded like a young voice, sad and scared. One night, when the crying was louder than ever, Lena could not sleep. She sat up on her small bed, her hands shaking. She knew she should stay away, but her heart hurt every time she heard that cry. She told herself she would only look from far away. She just wanted to see what was happening. Maybe someone needed help. She left her small living room quietly and walked down the narrow hall. The lights were low, and the palace felt cold. As she walked closer to the emperor's wing, she heard guards talking. Still crying, one guard sighed. "Yes," the other said. "It has been many nights now. Nothing we do works." Lena held her breath. So the noise really was coming from inside. When the guards walked away, she stepped closer. The big doors were half open, only enough for a servant to enter with food. The crying grew louder. Lena peeked through the gap. Inside the large room, she saw something she never expected. On the floor, curled into a huge ball, was a creature with silver scales. Its wings were folded tight around its body. Its tail shook like it was afraid. Its long neck was bent down, hiding its face. It was a dragon, but not a giant dragon from stories. This one was still young. Its body was big, but its movements were unsure and frightened. The dragon trembled each time it cried, like it did not understand the strange place it was trapped in. Lena felt her heart twist. The dragon looked like a scared child alone in a dark room. She knew she should run back. She knew this room was forbidden, but her feet moved forward on their own. She stepped inside the room very slowly, her hands raised to show she meant no harm. "It's okay," she whispered softly. "I won't hurt you." The dragon froze. The crying stopped for a moment. It lifted its head slightly, just enough to show one glowing blue eye. That eye watched her carefully, full of fear, but also longing for comfort. Lena took another step. "You're scared," she said gently. "I can see that. It's all right. I'm scared too." The dragon blinked. The room became quiet. No guards, no machines, no movement. Only a small human maid and a young dragon staring at each other. Lena sat down slowly on the floor, keeping some distance. She knew animals reacted better when someone sat down than when someone stood above them. "You're not bad," she said. "You're just alone." The dragon's wings loosened a little. It sniffed the air, smelling Lena's presence. Its head lowered a bit more, and its breathing slowed. Lena smiled softly. "See? It's okay. I'm here." For the first time since she entered the palace many months ago, Lena did not feel small or unimportant. She felt needed, and the dragon seemed to feel the same way. A soft sound came from the dragon, less a cry and more a small whine. Its tail curled around its body again, but this time it did not tremble. Its eyes stayed fixed on Lena, like she was something safe in a world full of fear. Lena reached her hand out slowly, not to touch but to show kindness. The dragon lowered its head a little more, almost like a bow. It was trusting her. Then, just as she felt the moment growing warm, she heard heavy footsteps behind her. "What are you doing in here?" Lena froze. Two tall guards stood at the doorway with shocked faces. They looked from her to the dragon and back again. The dragon stopped crying. One guard whispered, It's calm." The second guard stared at Lena like she was something impossible. "We must tell the emperor." Lena's heart raced. She had broken the rules. She had entered a forbidden room. She expected anger, punishment, maybe even to be thrown out of the palace. But when she looked back at the dragon, it was watching her with wide, trusting eyes. And for the first time ever, The dragon was quiet. Lena stood slowly as the guards ordered her to follow. She felt afraid, but she also felt something strange, like this moment was only the beginning of something much bigger. And somewhere deep inside, the dragon let out a soft, warm breath, almost like a thank you. Lena walked between the two guards with her head down. She tried to keep her step steady, but her hands felt cold. She had entered a forbidden room. She had touched the Emperor's secret. She had calmed the dragon, yes, but she did not know if anyone cared about that. Maybe they only saw her breaking rules. The palace halls were silent as the guards led her toward the throne chamber. The doors were tall and heavy, decorated with glowing symbols that changed color slowly, like breathing. Lena had only seen these doors from far away. Maids like her never entered this place. One guard pressed his hand against the panel, and the giant doors opened with a deep rumble. Inside, the air felt different, warmer, brighter, and full of strange energy. At the far end of the room sat Emperor Vorthax, ruler of the Vorthan Empire. He was tall and alien, with dark bronze skin, glowing purple eyes, and long markings on his face that shone when he moved. His presence filled the room, and Lena felt smaller than ever. The guards walked forward and bowed. "Your Majesty," the first guard said, "the dragonling stopped crying tonight. It calmed down because of this human maid." Lena kept her eyes on the floor. She waited for the Emperor's anger. She waited to hear she was being removed from the palace. But instead, there was only silence. Heavy silence. "Step forward," Emperor Vorthax said in a calm and deep voice. Lena took a shaky step, then another. She stopped a few feet from the Emperor. She felt his eyes study her, slow and careful, like he was trying to understand something about her. "You enter my private wing," he said. "You approach the Starfire Dragon." "Why?" Lena swallowed. "I heard crying, Your Majesty." It sounded scared. I thought maybe someone needed help." "You thought," he repeated softly, "even when you knew the danger?" She nodded. "Yes." I couldn't ignore it. For a moment, the Emperor did not speak. Then he asked, "And how did you calm it?" Lena took a breath. "I talked to it. I sat with it. I didn't shout or command it. I think it was lonely." The Emperor leaned back in his seat. His purple eyes glowed a little brighter. "For many nights, my healers and scholars tried to quiet the dragonling. They used every method they knew. Nothing worked. The guards in the room shifted uncomfortably. But you," Emperor Vorthax continued, "a simple maid, you walked in and it chose to trust you." Lena did not know what to say. She felt small and unsure, but she also felt something warm inside her chest. She did not want praise. She only cared about the dragon being safe. The Emperor lowered his voice. "Do you know what that dragon is?" Lena shook her head. "It is the Starfire Heir," he said. "A sacred creature that symbolizes peace and power in our empire. If the heir remains distressed, many believe it is a sign of weakness. People talk. They worry. Some even whisper rebellion." Lena's eyes widened. She had not known her small act could matter so much. The Emperor rose from his throne and approached her slowly. He was much taller than any human. His long robe shimmered with silver patterns that moved like clouds. "Tell me, Lena of Earth," he said, "why do you think the dragonling cries so much?" Lena spoke softly. "It's a child, Your Majesty. It doesn't understand this place. It's alone and scared. It needs someone to stay with it, not just treat it like a duty." The Emperor stared at her for a long moment. Then something surprising happened. He smiled, only slightly, but it was there. "You speak with honesty," he said. "Something rare in this palace." He turned to the guards. "Leave us." When the doors closed, only the Emperor and Lena remained in the vast chamber. "You cared when others did not," he said, "and the dragon responded to your care. Because of this, I am giving you a new task." Lena straightened, unsure if she should feel afraid or honored. "You will become the dragonling's caretaker," the Emperor declared. "From this moment forward." Lena blinked. "But I'm only a maid." "True," he said, "yet you succeeded where trained healers failed. The dragon trusts you. That is all that matters." She felt her heart beat faster. The idea scared her, but she could not deny she wanted to help the creature again. The Emperor continued, "You will have access to the dragon's chambers. You will be given training, food, and clothing suitable for this role. You will remain close to the dragon at all times." Lena nodded slowly. "Yes, Your Majesty. I will do my best." Emperor Vorthax studied her once more. "Good. The Empire depends on that dragon, and now it depends on you." When Lena left the throne room, she felt changed. She had entered as a scared maid. She walked out as a guardian of the most important creature in the Empire, and far away in its quiet room, the young dragon lifted its head as if it sensed her new purpose. Lena's life changed in a single day. One moment she was only a maid who swept floors. The next, she was the caretaker of the Starfire Dragon. Many in the palace stared at her when she passed by. Some looked confused, some looked annoyed. Others whispered behind her back, asking why a human maid was given such an important role. Lena ignored the whispers. She focused on the dragon. Each morning, she quietly entered the dragon's room. The dragonling would lift its silver head and look at her with soft blue eyes. It no longer cried the way it used to. Instead, it let out small hums like it was greeting her. Lena would clean its scales gently, bring warm food, and sit beside it while it napped. But even as the dragon grew calmer, Lena felt something strange around the palace. It was like a thin layer of trouble in the air. She noticed small things: guards whispering nervously, servants walking faster than normal, and advisors giving her cold looks when they saw the dragon respond to her. One evening, Lena was brushing the dragon's wings when she heard a quiet click near the door. She turned, but saw nothing except the shadows shifting along the walls. The dragon's tail stiffened. It let out a low whine, then looked at the door, frightened. Lena placed her hand on its side. "It's okay. I'm here." But the dragon did not calm as quickly as usual. It kept staring at the door, trembling. Lena walked toward the hallway and peeked around the corner. She thought she saw someone, a shadowy figure, walking away quickly. When she called out, no one answered. Later that night, she told one of the palace healers about it, but he only shrugged. "Creatures like the Starfire Dragon sense many things," he said. Maybe it was nothing. But Lena did not believe that. She had seen fear in the dragon's eyes. That kind of fear came from something real. The next day, the Emperor asked for a report on the dragon's progress. Lena stood in the throne chamber with the dragonling beside her. It pressed its head against her shoulder as she spoke. "Your Majesty," Lena said softly, "the dragon is better, but something frightened it last night." The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "What did you see?" "I only saw a shadow," Lena replied, "but the dragon felt someone near the door." An advisor stepped forward quickly. "Surely the maid is mistaken. The palace has full security. No one can enter the Emperor's wing without permission." Lena looked at him. His eyes were sharp, too sharp, almost like he was challenging her words. Before she could reply, the dragon suddenly growled at the advisor. It wasn't loud, but was enough to make the man step back. The Emperor's gaze hardened. Interesting reaction. The advisor's face turned pale. "It must be confused, Your Majesty. It's only a baby." The Emperor did not answer. He simply waved his hand, ending the meeting. As Lena walked the dragon back to its room, she felt uneasy. Why had the dragon growled at that advisor? Why had the advisor seemed nervous? That night, the dragon had trouble sleeping. It curled up tightly, breathing fast. Lena stayed beside it, humming softly. After a long time, the dragon finally relaxed, but only when she kept her hand resting on its head. Just before dawn, Lena heard soft footsteps in the hallway. They were slow, careful, like someone trying not to be heard. She placed herself between the dragon and the door. The steps stopped. Then the handle moved. Just a small movement. A test. Someone was checking if the door was unlocked. Lena's heart raced. In the next second, she made a bold choice. She walked straight to the door and opened it fast. The hallway was empty, but she saw something falling on the floor. A small device, round and black, no bigger than her palm. She picked it up. The dragon behind her let out a frightened sound. It hated the device. Lena understood immediately. "This thing, it scares you," she whispered. The dragon nodded its big head. Trembling, she hid the device in her apron and marched straight to the Emperor's chamber. She knocked once, and the guards let her in quickly, surprised by her boldness. The Emperor looked up. "Lena, what is wrong?" She placed the device on the floor in front of him. "Someone is trying to frighten the dragon on purpose," she said. "This was at the door, and this is not the first time." The Emperor knelt to study the device. His face darkened. "This is forbidden technology. Only high-ranking officials have access to such items." Lena felt her stomach twist. Someone inside the palace wants the dragon to stay scared. The room grew silent. The Emperor slowly stood. "There are people who would risk everything to weaken my rule," he said. "If the Starfire heir appears unstable, it will make me look weak." Lena swallowed hard. "We have to protect the dragon, Your Majesty." The Emperor looked at her with deep seriousness. "Yes, and now I know someone I can trust." For the first time, the Emperor believed her completely. And in that moment, Lena understood the truth. The dragon wasn't just in danger from fear. It was in danger from someone inside the palace. Someone powerful. Someone who did not want a dragon and the Emperor to survive. The palace felt heavier after the Emperor learned the truth. Advisors walked more carefully. Guards checked every corner twice. And Lena stayed even closer to the dragon, never letting it out of her sight. The dragon trusted her more than ever, but it was still uneasy. Sometimes it looked toward the windows, like it wanted to be somewhere else, somewhere far away from the cold walls and suspicious eyes. One afternoon, while Lena sat brushing its silver scales, the dragon pressed its forehead against her arm. A soft light shimmered across its body. Lena felt something warm in her mind, like a gentle push. She understood the feeling even though there were no words. "You miss your home," Lena whispered. The dragon blinked slowly, agreeing. Later that day, Lena spoke to the Emperor. "Your Majesty," she said, "the dragon is scared here. Someone keeps trying to harm it, and I think it needs to return to where it was born, even for a short time. It needs peace." The Emperor studied her carefully. "The Nest Worlds," he said, "the ancient home of dragonkind." He walked to a window, thinking, "It is far, dangerous, and full of old mysteries my people do not fully understand." Lena stepped forward. "But it will help the dragon heal." The Emperor turned, and for once his expression softened. "I believe you," he said. "Prepare yourself. You will travel with the dragon, and I will send 4 elite starships to guard you." The next morning, the entire palace gathered to watch them leave. Lena stood beside the dragon at the landing platform. The 4 starships waited, shining like silver mountains. Their engines hummed with deep power. As the ships lifted into space, Lena held on to the dragon gently. It pressed against her, trembling a little. This time, though, it was not fear. It was excitement and hope. The stars passed by the windows in bright streams. Lena sat with the dragon inside a large observation room. Outside, space looked endless. The dragon stared at the view, its blue eyes wide. Lena placed her hand on its warm scales. "You're going home," she whispered. "Everything will be okay." During the journey, the crew treated Lena with more respect. They saw how the dragon responded only to her, always calming when she spoke. The captain, a tall alien with crystal-like horns, approached her one night. "You have a special gift," he told her. "No human has come this close to a starfire creature before." Lena only smiled shyly. "I just care about it." The dragon lifted its head, hearing her voice, and lightly nudged her shoulder. When they finally arrived at the Nest Worlds, the windows filled with color. Floating islands of stone drifted through the sky, glowing with golden cracks. Rivers of bright energy flowed like liquid light, and giant, ancient shapes flew among the clouds, dragons full-grown and majestic. The dragonling let out a soft, joyful cry the moment it saw them. The ships touched down on a quiet island covered in glowing green moss. The dragon stepped out first, its wings opening for the first time in weeks. The air felt warm and alive. Lena followed closely, her heart full as she watched the dragon explore the land slowly, carefully. An older dragon landed near them, its wings sending gentle waves through the air. It was massive, with golden scales and wise eyes. It lowered its head to the dragonling, touching noses with it. The young dragon shivered with happiness. Lena stepped back respectfully. The older dragon then looked at her. She felt something in her mind again, a peaceful warmth, like a thank you. Her eyes filled with quiet emotion. The Emperor's guards formed a circle, watching everything carefully. But for the first time, the dragonling showed no fear. It played among the glowing stones, rolled in the soft moss, and learned to stretch its wings again. Lena spent the next days studying old texts with the nest caretakers. They explained how dragonlings needed calm places to grow. Loud, cold palaces and harsh voices only frightened them. But the most important thing was simple. A dragon needed someone it trusted. You gave it something no healer could give. One caretaker told her. Comfort, safety, a friend. Lena smiled, brushing dust off an old stone tablet. But peace could not last forever. On the 5th night, as Lena walked back to the camp, she saw shadows moving near the starships. The dragon sensed it first. It rushed to her, wings tight against its sides. Its eyes glowed with fear. Lena placed her hands on its cheeks. It's okay. No matter who is out there, I'm here. Then she stepped between the dragon and the darkness. Out of the shadows came 3 figures, wearing the same palace robes as the advisor, who disliked her. The dragon growled softly behind her. One figure stepped forward. You should not have come here human, he said. The Empire does not need the dragon healed. It needs the dragon gone. Lena felt fear rush through her body, but she did not move away. She stood firm. You will not touch it. The dragon pressed close to her, letting out a protective rumble. The saboteur stepped back, startled by the tiny human girl and the dragon defending her. Shouts echoed across the island as the starship guards rushed toward them. The figures fled into the forest of glowing stone. Lena knelt, placing both hands gently on the dragon's face. I'm here, she whispered again, and the dragon slowly calmed. The next morning, the Emperor received the report. The threat was real. The danger was growing. And now, the final part of their journey would begin together. The return to the palace was quiet at first. The 4 starships flew in a tight formation around Lena and the dragon, guarding them like shields of silver. The dragon sat close to Lena during the whole journey. It did not cry now. It hummed softly and leaned against her shoulder, as if it finally understood it was not alone in the universe. But the moment they entered the palace airspace, Lena felt something wrong. The lights across the palace towers flickered. Warning alarms echoed through the landing bay. Guards rushed around, confused and tense. When Lena stepped off the ship with the dragon, a soldier ran up to her. The palace is under lockdown, he said. Someone triggered a false emergency. The Emperor is trapped in the throne chamber. Lena froze. She knew immediately who caused this. The same people who had tried to scare the dragon on the Nest Worlds. The same ones who wanted the Emperor weak. The dragon beside her sensed her fear. It let out a low noise and spread its wings protectively. We have to reach the Emperor, Lena said. The guards hesitated. It's dangerous. And the dragon... But before they finished, the dragon stepped forward and roared loudly, making the floor shake. It wasn't angry. It was declaring it would protect Lena. The guard stepped back in surprise. Let her go, the captain said. The dragon follows her. No one else. Lena placed her hand on the dragon's neck. Let's go. They moved through the dim palace halls. Doors were locked. Lights flickered. A strange silence filled the air. Twice, shadows moved across nearby corridors, saboteurs watching them. The dragon stayed close, its eyes alert. It growled softly at every strange noise. Lena kept speaking to it in a calm voice, keeping it from panicking. When they reached the main throne chamber doors, Lena found them tightly sealed. The Emperor was inside, trapped by the lockdown. She knocked loudly. Your Majesty, it's Lena. We're here. His voice came from behind the door, faint but strong. Lena, the traitors are inside the palace. Be careful. They want the dragon. Suddenly, footsteps echoed behind her. 3 palace advisors stepped out of the shadows, including the one the dragon had growled at days ago. They blocked the hallway, smiling coldly. "It ends here," the advisor said. "That dragon should never have survived. And you, little human, have caused too much trouble." Lena stepped back, but the dragon moved in front of her, its wings half open, protecting her from harm. "You think you can fight us?" the advisor laughed. "It's just a baby." But his smile faded when the dragon growled, a deep, rumbling sound that shook dust from the walls. Lena placed her hand gently on the dragon's shoulder. "Don't be scared. I'm here. We can do this together." The dragon looked at her, and something changed in its eyes. The fear it once carried was gone. It stood taller, stronger. Its scales glowed brighter than ever before. The advisors stepped back in shock. It's awakening." The dragon spread its wings wide, forming a shield around Lena. The hall lit up with soft blue light from its body, but it did not attack. It did not hurt anyone. It simply stood there, protecting the only person who had ever shown it kindness. Lena stepped out from behind the dragon, surprising everyone. "You don't have to fight," she told the dragon softly. "Just stay with me." The saboteurs tried to move forward, but the dragon stomped once, and the floor vibrated so hard they stumbled. Behind Lena, the large doors of the throne room shuddered, and then opened as the lockdown broke from inside. Emperor Vorthak stepped out, surrounded by loyal guards. He stopped when he saw Lena standing tall beside the glowing dragon, facing his enemies without fear. The Emperor's voice boomed. "Enough!" The traitors froze. "You try to destroy the Starfire heir," he said. "You try to break the Empire." His eyes narrowed. "And you threaten the one person this dragon trusts." At his command, guards surrounded the traitors and disarmed them. The hallway grew quiet again. The dragon lowered its wings and placed its head beside Lena, as if asking if she was safe. Lena stroked its scales gently. The Emperor approached her slowly. "I saw everything," he said. "You faced danger without weapons, without training, only with courage." Lena shook her head. "I just didn't want it to be hurt. And that," the Emperor said, "is what makes you stronger than any warrior here." The dragon let out a soft rumble, like agreement. The Emperor turned to his guards. "Let all worlds know this day," he declared. "A human Maid saved the Starfire heir, saved the palace, and saved me." He placed his hand on Lena's shoulder. "From this moment on," he said, "Lena of Earth is the first dragon keeper of the Vorthan Empire." The dragon lifted its wings and let out a bright, joyful cry that echoed across the palace. In that moment, every alien, every guard, every advisor understood a simple truth. A single human, small, gentle, and brave, had done what no army, no machine, and no royal scholar could do. She had healed the dragon's heart. She had changed an empire. And that was a true HFY moment.